Hello and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Monday, February 12th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today and hope your Monday's going well. Now, for many of you, by the time you get to this video, because of it being so late in nature and me getting it even put up, then your day will be almost finished as far as a work day or a school day, something like that, be toward the end of the day. But at any rate, hope your Monday has gone well. And it is the beginning of this infamous work week and school week. And hopefully it's going to be a good week for you. Well, we're going to start a new theme this week. It's going to basically have to do with the word lifted. And will help maybe be an encouragement to you today by using these words as we see here in the Bible. We're going to be in Psalm chapter 30, verse 1. If it is your custom to get your Bible, follow along. That's where we'll be, okay? Otherwise, thank you so much for watching these videos and, of course, the responses that we have. And then just be in mind of people that ask for prayer for different things. Of course, so many physical needs, you understand that. And then some's not physical. There's emotional, spiritual needs, you name it. And so let's remember these. All right. So we're going to go to Psalm 30, verse 1. Notice what it says here. I will extol thee. That has to do with honor, praise, the acknowledgement of who God is, especially in the sense of what God would do for us. So it says, I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. So here's a specific situation about where God would lift someone from a position in which the enemies could have the advantage or overrun, that sort of thing. Let's just take just the general phrase there, for thou hast lifted me up, just the idea. First of all, as we look at this word this week, we certainly want to emphasize not only what God does for us, but what we can do for others. But here's the truth of it. If we're going to lift others in whatever those situations might be, then we have to be people that's been lifted up ourselves, especially in terms of salvation, okay? We may use this as one of our points this week, but David said about himself that, Lord, you've lifted me out of the miry clay. And, when we think about miry clay, think about getting in a situation you can't get out of. Here's a story that I'll tell you, true story. When I was a small boy, I think I was probably, I'm going to guess, I'm going to say somewhere between, let's say, 5 and maybe 9 or 10. And a young boy, and me and my brother, and on the property where I'm living now, my grandfather owned it, and we're living there now. He had what we call the back pasture. You had the house, and in the front of the house and along kind of the side, that was pasture. Then between the pastures and the driveway and what we would call the yard, it would be yard that would be mowed. Then there was these gardens, and nice gardens. And then, of course, you had several outbuildings. Have what we call the pack house and different buildings, and then you had kind of a longer area that had all kinds of stuff in it, plows, you name it. And then there's the barn. Well, behind all of that, the barn, there was another back pasture. Me and my brother had went out and went down, it kind of sloped down from the barn. And there's a creek that runs through it, and then it would kind of go back up. And you had an area over toward the back part of the property. And I remember, for whatever reasons, I had on these loafers. Now, they probably were like what we call church shoes, loafers. They didn't tie up. And really, in those days, almost everything tied up except for something like that. But anyway, I had these loafers on. And me and my brother was out running, and we went over this area, and I noticed, and of course, this is where horses had been, and I noticed you could tell where the horses had been in this area that there was their hoof prints. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that there was like little water had filled those. So where the horse's weight had pushed down. Well, we were going through that area, and all of a sudden I started sinking. That wasn't quicksand, but I'll tell you what, I got down and my feet wouldn't come out of there. And of course, I kind of panicked a little bit, and I couldn't get out. And I don't know if I was sinking lower, but I was down in this mire, if you please. And I remember, boy, I bolted out of them shoes, and those shoes to this day are somewhere back there in that back pasture. I'm sure they probably have rotted, deteriorated. We're talking about maybe, possibly, 50 years ago or more. And it could have been just one, but it may have been both of them. And I remember at least one of them got stuck. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, that shoe's there. And maybe I was thinking, I'm going to come back to the house. Surely we were just probably nasty. And probably they said, well, where's your shoes at? Well, they're back there, and I wasn't going to get them out. And maybe just too messy to even get them out. But all that to say, I can experience being in some mire. Well, there I was. Well, I got out of it myself somehow. Maybe my brother helped me. I don't remember. But I know this. When it comes to life and the way we were born in this world, when it comes to sin, and our life is kind of sunken in this mire of sin, it takes the Lord to lift you out. Now, there is places in this world that literally is called quicksand, and animals have gotten trapped in it. I think, like tractors, maybe cars, people, of course. And I've seen, maybe a depiction of people down to their waist. You can't get out. The more you move, the more you just keep sinking. And but somebody has to get you out. So the Lord got us out of our desperate situation when it comes to salvation and other things. And maybe we'll talk about that this week. But I just want to make the point here today is the Lord is the great lifter. There's nothing that God can't lift us out of. And God is the one who has to do it. When it comes to salvation, you can't lift yourself. Others not going to lift you. The church is not going to lift you. No one's going to lift you, but God will lift you. But thank God he is the great lifter. So we want to talk about that this week and how we can be someone else's help in the situation to lift them. But if we've been lifted by God, then we can certainly help others. And that's what we're going to talk about. All right. Well, we're going to stop here today. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Be safe and healthy and all of that. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday, and have a wonderful day.